The Watchmen. What else can be said that hasn't already been said about The Watchmen? Some of you may know who they are, some of you don't. But it's a pretty surefire guess that everyone's going to know who the Watchmen are by next summer. Zack Snyder recently turned this legendary comic book into his own film adaptation after the success of Frank Miller's 300. Written by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, The Watchmen is easily one of the most incredible pieces of work that I have read in, the past 3 years. You look at things like Batman Year One, The Long Halloween, the DC Identity Crisis, and when you read The Watchmen, you see where the inspiration for all of it really came from, it seems. Someone once told me that realistically in comic books, there are two ways of thinking. There's pre-Watchmen and post-Watchmen. And that's how important this book is. It's the story of a group of heroes set in an alternate universe, almost exactly like ours, except where masked vigilantes actually did exist, and actually did roam and protect our streets. And these people are forced into retirement after the arrival of, I believe his name was Dr. Manhattan, who becomes really the only true super-powered being in the world. And them coming out of retirement years and years later, when one of their own is mysteriously murdered. The story is amazing in itself. I mean, you have to read it to really understand everything that's going on. It's very difficult for me to, sit here and try to explain to you guys what The Watchmen is actually about. Because, there are so many things going on in this book. And for a story that I believe was, only 12 chapters long, the story is incredible. And, it just proves, once again, that Alan Moore, he's one of the greatest writers to ever, write a comic book. And Dave Gibbons, his artwork is incredible the entire way through. That being said, as it is becoming a movie, it's interesting ever so often seeing what Zack Snyder is doing with it. Because, realistically, he's taking a 20-year-old comic book and updating the look and the story for, an audience of the new millennium. And early reports said the movie was probably going to be about 3 hours long, which I think is fitting, considering how long the Watchmen tale really is. But I can guarantee you guys, it's not a tale that you will become bored with. When I read The Watchmen, I read the entire thing in one evening, and it's a pretty thick book when you got all the chapters together and everything. Especially since I had this special edition that included excerpts from a fictional character's book, but that really has nothing much to do with anything. But anyway, if you guys have seen the trailer for Zack Snyder's adaptation yet, or haven't yet, I will post a link in the descriptions so you guys can check it out. But till then, if you have heard of The Watchmen, you find it interesting, go ahead and try and see if you can go out and find it and read it. You will not be disappointed at all, I don't think. It's really an amazing book. I mean, there's not really much to not like about The Watchmen. Just keep in mind, this isn't your traditional superhero story. I mean, there's no real big villains. This is realistically about human beings who do incredible things. I mean, these aren't superheroes. I mean, in fact, I think even in the book, they rarely even refer to themselves about superheroes. They're what the heroes in comic books in the 20s and 30s were, and that's, masked crusaders. But overall, yeah. Whether you see Zack Snyder's movie or not, I recommend you guys go out and try and find a copy of The Watchmen and read it, because you will enjoy it if you haven't read it already.